Hello, this is Jim Cassidy, and today I'm going to tell you about AQBioMed, where we're commercializing the next generation of glaucoma implants. Now, glaucoma is caused by eye pressure, resulting in tunnel vision and eventual blindness. Glaucoma is the #2 leading cause of blindness in the world today, with over 80 million people suffering from the disease globally. This number is expected to grow to 112 million by 2040. Representing an over $5 million market in the U.S. and EU alone. In China, the glaucoma is expected to result in a huge health burden, particularly due to the rapid aging population numbers over the next 3 decades. In fact, in 1990, we saw only 5.9 million people in China having glaucoma. This increased to over 13 million people in 2015 and is expected to increase to 23 million by 2020, representing a $1 billion market opportunity in the Chinese market. For low intraocular pressure, medication is used. As intraocular pressure increases, surgery and stents are used. As a last resort, stunts are used. The AQ device is a stunt, and based on animal studies, we've seen that we should get much better results in people than the other alternatives. Now, globally, implants are growing very fast. In 2016, we saw $388 million of implants sold, and this is expected to grow to over $2 billion by 2020. Shunts make up about 33% of this number, and this is the market that we're targeting. The problem with current shunts is that they're only about 60% successful after 2 years. Due to the design of the AQ shunt and its performance in animals, we expect to have much better long-term results. Now, here are the problems with the competition. In their devices, fluid exits the tube into a reservoir or a blister created by a plate. This blister creates stress on the tissue, and the stress causes the tissue to thicken, and this limits the diffusion of the intraocular fluid out into the tissue. Our solution is a 1 millimeter thick linear array compared to a 1 to 6 millimeter thick solid plate by the competition. So rather than being a flat plate like the other shunts, the AQ shunt is a series of rails. In animal studies, it has been shown to create a radiator effect compared to a reservoir effect from the other shunts. This results in thinner tissue around the shunts and better drainage. This slide shows the difference in thickness from the AQ shunt compared to all the other shunts. This very thin capsule thickness is the secret to our long-term success. In the lower left corner, you can see a micrograph in blue showing competitors' tissue thickness compared to our tissue thickness at the same scale in purple. In addition, our device allows for a smaller incision size. Because the AQ shunt is so thin, it can be delivered into a 2 millimeter incision and a catheter compared to the 20 millimeter incision of the competitors. With our shunt, we expect to have much better success rates based on our animal data than the conventional devices. This alone will make us a success. So, where shunts were only typically used for the worst patients with the highest level of glaucoma, we believe our shunt can move the market and be used for a much greater number of patients. Now, where have we been? We've had over $1.2 million in non-dilutive research put into our device, 2 good animal trials, 3 peer-reviewed publications, 5 patents issued with 1 notice of allowance, meaning that we will soon have 6 patents granted, and we have 1 patent pending. With investment With investment, we can file additional patents in China, and the first pass of all our engineering tests have been completed. We've got a very straightforward regulatory pathway known as aqueous shunts, a Class 2 device in the U.S. and a Class 2 device in China. In fact, in the United States, there's a guidance document that tells us exactly how to file our 510(k) submission. Now, our device has very good economics. We can build it for less than $20, and in the United States, the average selling price for the competition is $700. And the device is reimbursed in the United States for over $1,000. Now, when you look at how well these provide benefit to people, this is done through a quality score, or quality adjusted life year. Tube shunts, which the AQ shunt belongs into, is 32% the level of good quality score and cost utility, meaning that there's a very good return on investment when people have this type of procedure done. With better results, we expect our tube shunts to have even better quality scores. Now, our exit strategy is to sell to one of the big pharmaceutical companies that are moving into the market. Here you can see that there's been several industry acquisitions for competitive products over the last couple of years. We're in the midst of verification and validation, and additional funds are needed to get us to the CE mark, which will be our first regulatory filing. And then with additional investment, we'll look for FDA clearance in both the United States and China. So currently we're burning less than $15,000 a month. And this is expected to increase to about $100,000 a month. The sweet spot for acquisition is when we have sales of over $1 million or over $5 million per year. And typical acquisition prices are costly between 5 and 20 times sales. And we expect our acquirer to be able to make significant sales in this market. I'm leading the team, and I've had 2 successful medical device exits. I'm joined by Gary Hendrick, Kevin Morningstar, who's had another has had a device exit as well as Jack Sampson. Our chief medical advisor is Randy Craven, who's at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Our leadership team has over 120 years of combined years of medical device experience and 3 exits. In addition to our core team, I've got a team of 20 engineers who are proficient in design and performance engineering, quality assurance, regulatory affairs, and manufacturing coordination. We have over 6,000 feet of manufacturing space, including clean rooms at my facility. As a team, we've done work for a number of different medical device companies. I chose this technology because I always look for something that can be made and sold for a lower price than the competition, can be better for the same price. There's currently a market for it. It has reimbursement, a strong regulatory pathway, strong IP, and a great gross margin. So here's the deal. We've raised $360,000 in a $3.5 million trade, and some of it has been through Chinese investments. Currently seeking $1.5 to $2 million at a $3.9 million free-money valuation. This will allow us to do an EU product launch and start on our way to an FDA clearance. Eventually, we'll need a round of about $5 million after we get our CE mark. We expect this to be at a greater than a $15 million free-money valuation. If I raise $400,000, it will be matched by the state of Colorado with non-dilutive funds of $250,000. So the goal is to raise this first $400,000 as fast as possible. Thank you very much.